Hi, this is Fatih Akin. I'm the director of Rheingold, and I'm here at the Red Sea Film Festival in Jeddah. Khatar is a known rap star in Germany, and he's more known for a spectacular gold robbery he did 10 years ago than for his music, actually. He became like a myth in all over Germany, especially in the ghettos, because he represents hip hop. And he wrote a biography. And a couple of years ago, I bought that because I wanted to know more about him. I'm a curious person. And I read it on a summer holiday. It was the perfect holiday book in a way. And the very first line of the book is, the first memories of my life are memories of the prison or of a prison. And when you read such a strong line, I was like immediately hooked by the whole thing. And while I was reading it, I had a feeling like this is material for a very crazy and cool and experimental and strong film. So I didn't know at the time if it was for me or not, but I just bought the rights so no one else could do it. And I was working on something else. And when that project I was working on collapsed, I needed desperately a plan B. And I was like, okay, this is about rap music, this is about gangsters, this is about migration in Germany. I'm familiar with the material, so I decided to do a film about it. And it became a very difficult filmmaking, but it opened a month ago in Germany. It had my most successful opening ever so far. Life is crazy. The difficulties of the project uh, came from it had to be done very fast. You see, it was I had a project which was collapsed, and I desperately needed another film. So I thought Rheingold would be easy to do. I completely underestimated it. You see, I thought the budget is lower. I thought the doing is easier. But when I was reading it or when I was writing the screenplay, I didn't have so much time. I built up the story of his parents because it's a migration story, and I want to see the world where they're coming from, which is Iran in 1979. They were escaping from the Mullah regime. Germany in the 80s, Germany in the 90s. To set this all up cost more and more and more money, and I wanted to have this in the film and that in the film. To make it more complex, I made it longer and more generous with locations, and I had so little time. And then came COVID, you see, and I had this lots of traveling and thousands of extras and 120 locations all around the world with COVID. Plus, in the middle of the shooting, my father died. I had to handle that. I had to take care of my mother. I was doing a lot of the film on autopilot. So it was tough. It was a difficult period in my life. But somehow, what can I say? The film gave it all back to me. So this is somehow the most important film I did. Maybe it's not the best. I don't mean that, but it's definitely the most important because the film was surrounding me in the most important period of my life. Doing this, I was reflecting the whole time the cinema itself. Doing Rheingold for me was an opportunity to do a film about cinema. Everybody said or is still saying cinema is dead, it doesn't work anymore, it's all about the streamers, kids just see Disney, and that's not true. I have a huge box office with a film which is not a comedy, which is a film which is not an easy film. It's 140 minutes. It has a lot of violence in it. It crosses genres, so in a way it's experimental. But kids recognize the film in Germany. An audience all around the world, each festival I have been, no matter if it's in the Middle Eastern world, like here, or if it was in Rome or Thessaloniki, they all connect to the film. There must be something in the film where I'm not sure about what it is. There's something in the film which touched people somehow and give me the faith back into cinema. When I was doing it, I was like, maybe this is the last film I do for the cinema if the cinema is really collapsing. And now I have this huge box office hit which nobody expected, and so it gave me back my faith into cinema, and the film is reflecting all the cinema I was loving, all the cinema I was growing up. It has so much stuff of Scarface and The Godfather and Once Upon a Time in America and Blood In, Blood Out and New Jack City. All these films, which meant so much to me in my life. I could sample them and bring them to this film. And it gave me something back. Yeah, it's an important thing. It's an important period. Anything can happen in this business, in life, but especially in the business, and it's like what John Lennon said, it's like life happens while you're busy doing other plans, and I was doing something completely different, and I end up doing this, and it turned out to be right. Whatever the result is, it turned out to be right to do this. So yeah, I'm now, now here for the first time, because I was working 28 months just on this film, day in, day out, with no break. And now for the first time, I'm here and I come down, I see the Red Sea, I see the desert, and I'm like, I'm calm. I found my peace now. Khatar was always involved. I want him to be involved in this project. I mean, it was me asking him, I want to do a film about you. It was not the opposite. And I said, hey, it's my film, and I do what I want, and you have to trust me, otherwise it won't work. And he said, I trust you, I know your cinema, and I trust your fame in Germany. So fame is very important, success is important for the web world. And here I am, with the filmmaker I am, and with the body of work I had in Germany so far. And he trusted me, but I needed him around me because it's so much in the film is stuff I don't know nothing about. I don't know nothing about, selling cocaine. I don't know nothing about making cocaine. I don't know nothing about watches. For me, a watch is something I take a look on, and I know at this time my interview will be done or whatever. And for these people, a watch is something completely different. It's a value. It's it's a code. Sneakers, very important. I have no clues about sneakers. Jogging pants, I have no idea about that. A car is something. I have a very old car, and it's a Prius. And I thought it's maybe economic. These guys, they drive other cars, and I have no ideas about that. So I always had him around me. Like, is the car right? Is the clock right? Is the language right? But so were people who surround him, other protagonists in the film. And they were not as easy as Khatar was. Khatar was very easy. He let me do. But the others, they were like, hey, it was not like that. And I want to be portrayed like this. And I don't want this in the film and change my name. Or, no, I changed my mind. Put back my name again in. But I shot it already. Doesn't matter. Put my name back again in. And I had to open the film. And, so it was endless, My tolerance with no was very high, because I was dealing with gangsters. I want a peaceful life. I don't want trouble in my life. So I was dealing with, I had these persons on set, and I had to deal with them. And of course I had to find a distance, because this film is not about glorifying it. It's not about judging neither. It's none of the both. I tried to. I made documentaries before. I tried, especially the violent scenes. I tried to make as, objective as possible. It's not glamoring it in a way. But they were around me, and I couldn't disrespect them. That was important. So my task was the one of, not a politician, but like a diplomat. I was really working like a diplomat. So the first interest was cinema first. That's always the case. And I convinced them to trust me on that. But I was like, okay, how much or what do I have to do to have their bless? What do I have to do that they don't come after the film with a drive-by in front of my house? What do I have to do? So I was really like, moderating and balancing and, try to keep the balance. And I don't know. I'm good with that, because I can talk for hours, and I talk and talk and talk and talk until they're like, okay, do what you want. What I knew passive but not active was that this is a center of the world. Mecca is just around the corner, and Mecca is the center of the Islamic world. So you have people from Asia, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Pakistan, India pilgriming there. You have people from Africa. You have people from Europe, States, everywhere, and it's so centered. And it's so charged with spirituality and believing and faith. So there's a lot of power here. Plus, there's money, which is another power. So this is a very powerful center of the world, which was not on my agenda. And I think the festival is reflecting this power. And I'm here, and I'm this filmmaker from Europe, from Hamburg, Germany, and I try to benefit as much as possible from that power. So I try to grab whatever I can get. Every conversation with a filmmaker from Africa or from the Middle East, I don't have often the challenges in the other usual suspect festivals. And if something is new, there's always like a pioneer spirit in it, and I feel that, and it's exciting. And I don't really believe that it's just a PR stunt, And if it's a PR stunt, so are the usual festivals in the West, Without L'Oreal, no Cannes, and Venice is very attracted to have like all the American films, American and another Netflix production and whatever. For what? To get attention. This is another PR stunt. Is it the best for the cinema? I don't know, But the only thing I can say is L'Oreal is made out of oil, and the oil comes from here. I'm working on a TV series on Marlene Dietrich.
Okay.
It's a mini series with I think 5 episodes. I was working on that for a long time with Diane Kruger starring as Dietrich. I hope we get it financed. It's a difficult project. It's a complex project. It's an expensive project, and what they were saying about the cinema's in crisis. The first time now I hear like the streamers are in a crisis, and the televisions are in a crisis. I hear that for the first time. So. That's why I still have my cinema projects. I think I will have to reflect a bit the last 28 months in terms of cinema, in terms of what is the right and best thing to do for me next. I have several projects. I don't start on zero, on point zero. I have screenplays I have written which would need rewrites, and I have material which I have developed, and I have to pick up one to focus on, But the good old days where I decide like I'm doing this film and it was sure I do it and I end up in Cannes with it. These days are gone because I experienced that now several times that in the middle of financing, films of mine get collapsed, and I had to do something else. Rheingold is a result of that, And so I try to be aware. It's not that I work less with the more success. It's the opposite. I work more because if this doesn't happen, I can pick up that. That means I have to write simultaneously on several projects.